In realms long forgotten, there are tales of the Forest Kingdom, a place of honour and chivalry, known to some as the Land of the Purple Dragon, but known to all as Cormyr.
Hi, I'm Theoda, and I'm playing Hiram, a half-orc paladin.
Hi, my name's Carl. I'm playing Cassie Donahue, human bard.
Hi, I'm Julia, and I'm playing Badger, a forest gnome monk.
Hi, my name is Anton, and I play Balthazar, a Warforged Cloak of Azuth.
Hi, my name is Elle, and I'm playing Slate, a changeling druid.
Hi, I'm Matt, and I'm playing Zombo, who is a halfling rogue/warlock.
And my name is Dan. I shall be the dungeon master on this adventure. Hello everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Dan.
There were no technical hitches at the start of this session, so we're going to jump straight into it.
Very good.
Many seek the life of an adventurer, searching for the raw thrill the profession provides. The life of an adventurer can be a strange and varied one, bringing them face to face with a myriad of peculiar people and fantastical places. It is a small wonder the influence which can be exerted on a village, a city, or indeed a nation by a group of adventurers when they are considered heroes. However, sometimes there is a look that can be found in the eyes of more experienced adventurers, one that speaks of hardship, of unease, of guilt. These adventurers who choose to push ever onwards despite the cruel turns their path has taken them down are the true heroes the realms need in dark times, when friend turns on friend, family turns on family, and those who would exploit the turmoil reveal themselves. We could wax poetic until the Tressons come home, when perhaps what we should be saying is... Booyah?
Oh, yeah.
So, we find ourselves in a goblin camp. It's a bit of a blur how we came to this point. There was some chanting, there were some stealth attempts, there was some crossbow bolts fired into goblins. But here you stand. So, yes, you find yourselves in a goblin camp, in the shadow of the large and impressive figure, which is Jick the Goblin. It would seem that her bout of wild magic-induced sneezing has increased her to a somewhat larger size than you last met her. But one of those said sneezes has just emerged from her face, courtesy of a spilt bag of white pepper. And you watch as the sneeze begins to coalesce into a shape. And as you look at it, you realise it's not dissipating. And instead, you almost get the feeling like it's turned to face you. And in unison, the goblins all say in shock and awed voices, Booyah! Everyone, roll for initiative.
But it's friendly, Dan. It's friendly.
Oh wow, that's a good start.
Oh, shit.
Oh, great.
Oh, God.
No. Oh, drool.
Oh, Lord.
point. I had advantage on my initiative rolls, and I rolled a 2 and a 3.
Oh boy.
It's gonna be one of those games.
Okay, so as you all stand a tad dumbstruck, so actually, Slate, you'd be over there because you're currently sort of in Balthazar's helmet. You watch as
Spider form.
in spider form, yes, yeah. So as you turn to look at this amorphous kind of green blob, and it looks largely gaseous. There's some sparkles in it. You also notice some kind of globules of like snot, mucus, boogers just kind of floating around like little atoms inside it. The sneeze kind of rears itself up to what you can only assume is its full size. And then with a big puff, a portion of the sneeze kind of squeezes out towards you and envelops you all. So everyone, I'm going to need a Constitution save of DC 16.
Oh.
God. This isn't
Really?
a...
I keep forgetting how to do a con save.
You can click on Save DC 16 Constitution in the chat.
Oh, we're rolling low today. I mean, well done, Zumbo.
I can't roll beam then. Don't know why. I'll just try and roll separately.
Oh, I was on character.
Okay, so Slate 7, Zumbo 22, Katya 4, Badger 3, Emily 11.
Emily is not there, so
yeah, Emily's fine.
please kind that, please.
Balthazar 4, Hiram 16. So those of you who fail, you take as this orb, this puff of cloud floats towards you, you notice it's changing various colors. Those of you who fail take 28 poison damage.
Gosh.
And those of you who passed take 14. And this is going to get real spicy. So we're going to start from the top. Zumbo, as this cloud touches you...
Oh, sorry, I forgot to roll for draw.
Oh yeah, if you roll for draw. As this cloud touches you, Zumbo, as you like go to shield your face, the little squeak that comes out of your mouth comes out in a booming roar. For the next minute, you must shout when you speak. Slate.
So nothing changes.
So wait, and can I just ask, in taking damage,
Yes.
that means I go out of... so I'm now on top of Balthazar, basically, as Slate.
Yes. But also, as you kind of bamf out of Balthazar, like pop out his collar, you find that your skin has gone unusually hard. Balthazar?
Yes.
Uh,
Oh, very good.
some
Like that.
some of the sneeze clings to you like a film. Drool regains a spell slot. Hiram. Yeah! I got it!
Oh my god.
Incredible.
Please tell me you have an
I
icon
was
for
green
that.
to begin with, so it tracked.
I actually don't, which I'm really upset by. I'll draw something up during your turns. So you all watch as Hiram, poof, turns into a potted plant.
Oh, God.
Katya, you,
Oh, wow.
Katya, you, and like expand in all directions.
Oh god. Wow.
Mega Catcher. Catcher Smash.
And last but not least, Badger, you get 2 actions on your next turn. As you like suddenly the world goes really slowly, starts moving really slowly for you, and you watch in horror as Katya just starts expanding. Cool.
God.
So, as that sneeze cloud watches over you, and Jick pulls like an unhappy, awkward face, the sneeze just kind of wafts, like it almost seems to look around and then begins to waft over towards the goblins who all stood kind of dumbstruck. Zumbo.
Okay. Okay. So are we poisoned as well, or are we just?
No.
Okay.
That's
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So Betty on my hat is going to be trying to waft this purplish gas away with her tentacles, which is going to cause one of these.
So you can pull it out of the. I've dropped all of your companions into the PC window, so you can drag them out yourselves.
Okay, I will do that. Why isn't it appearing?
Tell you what, I'll grab that out for you. Where is it?
Okay, there we go. So it's there.
Oh, okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, so
Cool.
a tentacle emerges from the ground in a puddle appears, I assume?
Yes, a little like sploshing puddle of water. This rubbery thing bursts out of it and starts whacking at the sneeze. And I need to roll a. $12 to hit.
12 to hit. So as the tentacle kind of whips at the side of the sneeze, it makes an unpleasantly wet slap, but it just kind of shirks off the side of it.
Okay, cool. Meanwhile, Zumbo's shouting, "What the bleeding hell is that?" And is backing away. Watery blobs have appeared around his hand, and he's flinging them at the sneeze as he's trying to get away. So that will be. So 17 and 21.
So I'm just gonna pop that there for dear Hiram. 17 and 21. So as the as the blast of magic strike out against the sneeze, they connect.
Okay, grand. So 17 force damage.
17 force damage. Cool. And the sneeze kind of wobbles and jiggles around as it takes as the Eldritch blasts splash into it. Cool. Anything else, Zumbo?
No, that's me.
Question, Jim. Then.
Yes.
Does the sneeze make contracts from the spell?
It does, and they hit separately, don't they?
I believe so.
Oh, sorry. Click.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh, bad sneeze.
The only other thing is it would be knocked back as well, if it is.
Yeah, no worries. Well, in which direction? If you use it, just directly away from you, kind of thing, or towards Jick, or?
Yeah, just directly away from where I was is fine. So over the tentacle.
Okie dokie. And how far back is it in total?
It's 20 feet.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So, as the blast of water kind of puff this thing back, you watch as the cloud, the cloud of magical sneeze around you just kind of disperses.
Ooh.
Right. Badger.
Right. Badger's coughing from the dissipating smoke. Badger's gonna run up to past the tentacle.
Yeah.
And run up to the sneeze. And she's gonna do some punchy.
Okay.
Okay. Punchy. Catch a monkey. Let's do a quarterstaff to begin with, just for fun. Oh, that's a
hello.
crit. We're definitely stunning striking with that one, so I'm gonna need whatever the saving throw is for that.
It's a con as well,
It
isn't it?
is a con save from him, please. Hang on. That may not actually pass. It. How do I
It's
figure out?
8 plus
DC?
your wisdom and proficiency, I think.
Right. Okay. Proficiency plus 3. Wisdom is plus
So
3.
16.
So 16. Yeah. No.
Oh.
14.
14. Sorry, beg pardon. Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay. But that's a fail. So he is stunned.
Thunder sneeze.
A stunned sneeze. Is that right, or has he got immunity?
Well,
to-
okay. So just to check, was that with your quarterstaff?
Is that
No,
not
but that
allowed?
was with the quarterstaff, yeah.
It was. Yeah.
okay.
Is that
Yeah.
allowed? Let me
Yeah,
just
yeah,
double
yeah,
check.
that's fine.
Sunny strikes any monk
Yeah.
attack.
So it's
Nice. Okay.
okie. So you swing your staff,
So that-
and
So it's bludgeoning.
so it connects
damage.
with the side of the sneeze. But because the sneeze itself is intangible, it almost just kind of seems to pass through it slightly. And even though you know it was a solid connect, and the goblins around you, at your martial display, yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, the sneeze seems unfazed.
Including the stunning strike.
No, actually, yeah, beg and bum. But with the blow is heavy enough that the sneeze begins to, that you create enough of a whirlwind vacuum that it starts swirling around. It loses its shape as it tries to regain itself. Yeah, it is stunned.
Somehow it is
Stunned.
okay. All right then. Should have probably done it with my fiery hands, but don't worry, we're going to use those now. So for my
With
second
advantage.
attack, thank you. 17.
Is a hit.
That's a hit. We're going to do our second action, which is going to be 2 more hits with advantage. That's a crit. That's another. Is that
That's
13?
13. Yeah.
13 fiery damage
Yeah.
this time. Then we're going to do our second hit of the second action. That's 27. That's 10 more fiery damage.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, and I've used my bonus to do my stunning strike. So I just go, aha!
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
It's me.
But so you know, there's always that thing about like farting on an open match. Who knew? Who knew that it
God.
almost kind of works with a sneeze as well? Right. Anything else, Badger?
No, I think that's enough.
Okie
thanks.
dokie. In which case, Slate, you've noticed your skin has gone metallic.
And that I've moved out of
Yeah, so you popped
spider
out there.
mode. So I think probably I'd imagine that having been in the helmet, I'm kind of trying to wriggle my foot out of Balthazar's like armor. Like, sorry. Would you mind?
Kind of stuck. Sorry, a bit awkward. Oh god.
And then kind of realizing that I'm actually not hurt, or I'll go. Catcher, you. I don't know how to say this nicely.
on.
You look incredible.
Thanks.
Is that Hera? And then on doing that, I'm just gonna cast Speak with Plants.
I have updated Hiram's token.
Oh, awesome.
Yes.
Perfect,
It's
love
very
it.
good.
Wait.
It's very good.
Wait, I just keep the plant. But
Aww, what are you saying?
I'm saying maybe we should keep Hiram as a plant.
Okay.
Wow.
So as you cast Speak with Plant, what is the first thing that Slate hears from Hiram in his new state?
Oh no, not again.
Hey, buddy. Probably shouldn't say that. Hey, friend. Are you okay? You alive? You seem alive. Thriving.
I mean, this might as well
Blossoming.
happen.
So, yeah, you notice that this plant, it almost kind of turns to you slightly to look at you, and you know it's a plant. It looks like a basil plant, but you notice that on its off, just kind of jutting out from one of its stems, is a stick, and you realise that's Hiram's sword hand.
Oh, it looks like you're still attackable. You could do some
Right.
damage with that, maybe. I don't know.
Late.
Can you move?
Can you actually turn me back?
Oh, no.
Okay, in that case, can you move me from everyone before someone steps on me?
Yes, great idea. And on that, I'm going to get my leg out, just wriggle as much as I can out of Balthazar.
Yeah.
Sorry, pal. Tap him on the head, and then go over to Hiram. Herbam? I don't know. We'll find out. And then
But I'm not gonna stay long enough in this war to warrant a new name. Let's just stick with Hiram.
Does anyone know if it's delicious basil, will it hurt Hiram if we just take a few leaves?
Do not eat
for
me!
dinner later.
Do not eat me! What is going on?
Is it the same as eating Hiram? Like,
I think so. I think I'd be knowledgeable enough to be able to to move a plant, right, from
Can
one
you
place to
move me in a way
another.
that I can see Emily, because I just want to know that she's okay.
Yeah.
Sure. There, friend.
I think.
And then I'll move, and as I'll go. You smell great, Hiram.
That's the first.
So I think Slate's already got it, but yeah, Hiram's getting inspiration for that as well. Good golly. Okay, so Slate, you're picking up Hiram and putting him where? Sorry.
Closer to Emily, I think is what Hiram said.
Okay, Hiram, you move your token, and then we'll put Slate next to you as you direct your companion. Okay.
Okay, I can be next to you.
Okay, cool. Anything else, Slate?
I mean, so far I'm just like having a great time. I've got strong. I feel revitalized.
Yeah.
I've got a friend that's a plant. What was it? 30 feet, right? I can speak to other plants, correct?
Can I just say, I'm
Maybe-
so happy we are not in Resident Evil, otherwise, I'm the green herb, I could heal people.
Is there any other plants in the vicinity?
There is a large patch of mushrooms. To the side. Otherwise, within 30 of you. It's just these mushrooms here.
I'll just say, do you fungi know where the nearest party is? No, sorry. I'm kidding. No. Does this happen normally? Is there anything you can do to? I don't know. Are we stopping it? Do we have to stop it?
So listening.
What's going on?
Listening in, you overhear the mushrooms playing what is effectively a cardless version of poker. And it operates by the dealer of the house, if you will, shaking occasionally to release spores, and that's what they use instead of cards and suits. And they look up to you. Effectively, these mushrooms all kind of tilt backwards slightly as you begin speaking to them, and one of the smaller ones kind of whispers back, "Do you want in?"
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And then I'll go towards the fungi.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my that's the best use of a third level spell slot I think I could have.
So, Balthazar, you have just watched one of your friends turn into a plant. One of your friends turn really, really big. One of your friends is now talking to mushrooms. What do you do?
Balthazar is terrified, and he will run towards the sneeze.
Uh-huh.
Can I go here?
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. And he's kind of like frantically waving his stick and like sort of waving it around. But he will unwittingly cast an ability, which I shall roll. Does that appear? Did that work?
Ooh!
Ooh.
As his staff will light up, and an arcane abjuration will be cast through by the divine entity that is linked to him.
Right. Okay.
So I don't know if it's a celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, but it might be an elemental. So I don't know.
So,
Maybe it works. Maybe it
Nice.
doesn't work.
Make a wisdom save. Okie dokie. So, you watch as Balthazar, as you run forward,
Go away!
like-
Leave us alone!
while he's got one hand in front of his eyes and he's waving the staff over his head. You lot notice that the clear grey crystal on the end of his staff begins glowing blue. And as the glow gets brighter and brighter, what's your DC? 15.
Yeah.
Whoa! The sneeze almost screams. But Badger, you watch as its shape kind of distorts as the light from Balthazar's staff reaches for it. But it starts to dissipate. But then, like a string of snot going back up into a child's nose, it kind of pulls itself back together. And the light from your staff flickers out, Balthazar.
That's my turn.
Okie dokie.
But Badger quickly looks up at Balthazar and goes, "How did you do that?"
What? Go away! Wasn't paying attention at all.
Mega Katya, what is
Giga Katya. You know, her deep booming, her deep booming giant voice. Is everyone okay? And she casts at 4th level mass healing word on everyone, giving everyone 9 hit points back.
And all the goblins once again. Oh, as the
No, that wasn't meant. Sorry.
as a sparkly dust kind of rains over them.
I don't suppose I can take the healing as Hiram and not as the potted plant.
Yes,
DM.
you get it as Hiram, don't worry, yeah. But Hiram, what are you saying?
Then-
You are a potted plant. This is your life now.
I mean, it's
then-
bound to be less stressful than this one.
She then looks to the living sneeze, is like, "This is not snarling funny."
Fine. Okay, cool. And you're like as you focus on the sneeze.
It takes 6 psychic damage, and it must take D4 from its next saving throw.
Okie dokie. So this almost imperceptible streak of light fires and pierces through the sneeze. And Katja, you notice that's you don't remember ever seeing a streak before.
No, that's new.
Speaking of Drool, what's Drool doing? Did I
Uh,
roll an effect
Drool-
for Drool?
You
Yes.
did. He gained back a spell
Yes.
slot,
Yes.
which he's going to use to cast nothing at all because he's not magical.
Okay. Yeah.
He casts Fireball at 9th level. Drew's going to. Oops, wrong button. I think I get him into there.
Yeah.
And then he is going to clamp his jaws into the gaseous form as best he can.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so like it's like watching a dog trying to eat snow. Just just biting a waft. But unfortunately, yeah, Drool does not connect. Anything else, Drool?
No, that'll be all from Drool.
Hiram.
I shake my leaves.
Angrily, shake them angrily. How long does this even last for?
I thought it was
turn.
1 round.
1 round. So
turn into a pot
after
plant.
this, I turn back.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, at the end of this round. Okay. So as you you manage to gyrate aggressively enough, that yeah, at the end of your turn, well, so hang on. Slate's picked you up, put you down, and has wandered off to go and talk to some mushrooms. So
Yep.
Close enough to Emily, though.
yes, true. That is true.
Like
Not
one
bad, Fred.
step closer.
Okay, so yeah, at the end of your turn, Hiram, you turn back into a Hiram. Oh, that did not update. I will sort that out in a moment.
When Hiram's gyrating aggressively as a plant, I'm going to turn around and go. In some plant cultures, that's actually quite offensive. Be warned. No.
Yeah, like Slate, you can hear like the group of mushrooms over by you going, "Oh, disgusting." It's-
And then I'm gonna like shout at them, "Don't kink shame," and then get back to her.
What is, there's like a whole side world going on here.
yes. Right. So the sneeze. The cloud of chaos does not recharge, so instead it wafts over towards some of the goblins, and oh no, it will. Actually, no. Sorry. Tell you what, it's not going to waft over towards some of the goblins. It instead disengages and levitates. Ooh, just rises 25 foot into the air. Oh wait, what does stun do? Sorry.
I think he's incapacitated, isn't he?
Oh,
Until is it the end of my next?
Yeah,
The beginning of my next turn or
It,
something?
Yeah.
it basically
Yeah.
doesn't have a turn, right?
oh, okay. In which case, it just sits there swirling, not doing a whole lot of nothing. In which case, Zumbo. You've also noticed, sorry, that the 12-foot tall goblin that this sneeze came out of is currently cowering behind a tent on the far side of the camp. What do you do?
So, looking over and seeing Hiram stood where the plant was just a minute ago, Zumbo's going to shout, "Don't just stand there, Hiram! Get into it!" And he's going to clamber up onto this cart, just kind of shouting at the goblins to get out of his way, running along, elbowing them aside. And meanwhile, Betty is going to glare her little octopus eyes at the floating cloud of sneeze,
Yeah.
giving it a very nasty look. And Zumbo's going to lob his balls of water at it again.
Okie dokie.
Do I get advantage for it being incapacitated or anything?
For a stun, I believe you do, yes.
But it should be no longer stunned, right? Oh no, it's the end of its turn.
End of
Yeah, it
Julia's
will be.
turn.
End of Badger's turn, yeah.
Oh.
Cool. So advantage, that's great. Which I need.
That is a hit.
And yeah, try it again. Nice.
That is also a hit.
So it's 11 and then 2d6.
And it goes back
The hex.
10 foot at a time, yeah?
10 foot each time, yeah.
Okay, so from you, so 1, 2. So you blow it back. The second one, as you knock it back a second time, this you notice this little goblin stood at the back on kind of the wood pile, just looking at it, going, "Oh." And as you knock it backwards over the goblin, the magic from your spells, the cloud starts vibrating and jiggling, and then it just kind of puffs out, very much like a mushroom puffing out spores. And this goblin stood on the wood pile as the sneeze kind of puffs around him. And the goblin looks at you for a moment, blinks a few times, and then doing that. So let's just do a D. Got it. Right. You watch as this goblin and just explodes into puff and becomes just turns into this blue smoke with which just kind of floats awkwardly.
Oh, despondently, or
it's just kind of floating there. Looks a little confused.
Well, I like them. That's Sumbo's turn.
And yeah, you notice that this goblin looks over and suddenly isn't hopping and dancing and chanting booyah anymore. And you also notice this 12-foot goblin on the other side of the camp just kind of pull another awkward oopsie face. Badger, what do you do?
Badger looks a bit confused at the goblin, the former goblin that's now a puff, and sort of looks around and says, "Is that supposed to happen? What's going on?" And I guess she's gonna kind of go up to it and just sort of poke at it with her stick.
So the puff of cloud, you notice as you get up close, it's very, very cold. And this cloud kind of is swirling and moving, and it almost kind of rearranges into the face of the goblin that was once a goblin. And this face just screams in confusion and terror, I guess. And as you poke at it, the cloud reacts violently. You realise it is most likely hostile.
Oh no. Okay. I mean, I guess if it's definitely hostile.
It would seem so. Like, you notice that it's expanding in size. And looking over, you can see Jik kind of going.
Okay, fine. So, does my investigation of it count as an action?
It would, I suspect.
Yeah, that's okay then. In which case, I probably don't have much else I can do, which is fine. Probably just gonna bonus action dodge, maybe. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Okie dokie. So as you bonus action dodge, as you kind of drop into a defensive pose, you just see Jik kind of looking around awkwardly, because all the goblins have turned and watched this other goblin just turn into a cloud or magical puff. And you notice that all the village goblins turn their eyes to face Jik. And Jik just kind of, I mean, she's 12 foot tall, isn't she? So she just kind of gently begins to climb over the palisade of the village, and just tries to duck away out into the woods. You just see her kind of tiptoeing away, but just this large shape lumbering off towards the tree line. Slate.
So I guess, is this possible? If I cast Druid Craft, could I create some spores?
Yeah? Are you going to try and cheat?
Yes, then I'm going to do that. Yeah.
Sporker.
What else can I do? I'm not an actual...
Okay, fine. In which case, yeah, so you cast it. I don't know, roll me a D20.
Roll me a fungus check.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, you win. It's not a great hand, but yeah, you managed to beat out Larry.
Yes.
Cool. And like the mushroom, the other mushrooms just as they slump because they're all having a terrible day of this gaming event. Anything else, Slate?
I'll just turn around to the rest of the group and be like, I won!
Okay. Balthazar, you've watched Badger looking at this puff of cold air. You've noticed the 12-foot goblin is starting to do a runner. What do you do?
I'll ask Badger. Badger, what is it?
It's a goblin wisp. Or something.
Okay. I guess Balthazar will tentatively go and have a look at it.
Roger's kind of in a defensive pose with a stick going, ha, ha, at it.
If I'll use my my action. If it hits Badger or me, I'll whack it with my stick. Okay, there you go. That's my turn.
Katya the giant.
Giga Catcher steps forward and Badger, be careful.
Thank you.
She rolls. She gives you bardic inspiration, and then she looks down at her giant loot, and she's like, "I wonder how this sounds," and strums it to give herself back a use of bardic inspiration.
Nice. Do you get 2 when you're giant?
So hang on, where were you when you did that?
I was here, and then I just stepped forward. No, I was. Hang on, what am I doing? I was there. So I was here, and I should have moved to here.
Okay. Can I? Oh, I don't think I can. Ah, no. Okay, so as you pull out your loot and strum it, there is a boom that comes out of your loot strings, and 15 feet. Okay, this one goblin here is just close enough that just close enough. Yeah. Okay. So as the magically empowered resonance comes out like a Marty McFly guitar strum, this goblin is lifted up his feet and launched over the fence and just kind of lands outside the town somewhere. And the other 2 goblins stop and they look at you and just point up at you. Booyah!
Yes. Booyah! Just the goblin on his back, so you take off a pair of glasses, is like rock and roll.
Anything else? Sorry, you're moving, aren't you, Katya?
Just taking a tiny step forward.
Okay. So yeah, if you, where is it you're finishing? Sorry.
It should be finishing because I need to at least be 60 feet. Fine. Like I've got plenty of room. I'm a giant.
Cool. Right. Badger and Balthazar, you watch as this cloudy goblin face starts screaming, and like the cheeks start puffing out, almost like the lips come together, and he starts puffing out almost as if he's gonna, he's just almost inflating himself, and then there's this sudden. Sorry. So there is a noise as this goblin's cheeks ripple as this magic just kind of puffs out, and like you both get this blast of cold air to your faces, and then the goblin reverts back.
This is the best ever.
Awesome.
And as the goblin kind of collapses on the pile of wood, you look around. The camp goes silent for a second, and then in unison the goblins. Hey, booyah! Booyah! Booyah!
Booyah! Booyah!
But yeah, you notice that they're crying booyah to you lot.
So I start going back to normal in a minute, don't I? Like, booyah, 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 booyah.
Yes. So, Catcher, you begin to return to a normal size. Slate, you notice your skin stops being metallic and shiny. Zumbo, your voice appears to be getting quieter, like that someone's stolen your voice. And yeah, Badger, your world starts to slow down. Well, speed up actually, starts to speed up.
Yeah.
But yes, the goblins all just kind of begin to gather around you, and they're all kind of cheering and kind of getting in close they just want to touch you. A lot of them. They're just just laying hands. You watch Zumbo disappear under a throng of goblins. Before they eventually, you hear some shouting, you hear some like get off me, and then suddenly you just see Zumbo hoiked up into the air on the shoulders of 5 goblins as they bounce them up and down, shouting booyah, booyah. Yeah, I'm not sure entirely how Drool feels about this. You also watch as 2 goblins kind of inspect this tentacle, and one of them kind of pokes it, and the tentacle slaps him, knocks him back a few feet, and then the other goblin jumps on it, tries to just tries to wrestle this tentacle as it flops around. Yeah, what do you all do?
I look around for my winnings.
Okay, so Hiram, yeah, what does Hiram do? Because you're furthest away from the madness.
I would like to check on Emily.
Okay.
It's very unlike her not to join the fray. She's been oddly quiet.
Emily looks a little stunned. Like she's not. As you turn to look at her, she looks up at you, and she's got this face. She just can't really comprehend what on earth is happening, and she says, I thought we killed goblins.
Well, we have saved Jig before. Several times, actually. And if you remember, we talked about this. Like, if they are not aggressive, we don't hurt them.
As you say that, you hear, and behind you, the 5 goblins lose control of Zumbo, and the 6 of them go crashing into the supply cart.
Incompetency is not a crime.
She just doesn't seem to know what to say. She looks at the cargo cart, the supply cart that Zumbo is currently splayed on the top of. Is that what we came here for?
Yes, I'm glad someone remembered that, and and I think I'm gonna go and check if the supplies are still in one piece after that debacle.
Okay.
Yeah, Zumbo will have scrabbled to his feet and readjusting his hat. Yeah, crew, listen up. I've liberated these supplies.
And okay, so Zumbo, as you're shouting that, Balthazar.
But yeah.
Yeah. So sorry, you can see 1 goblin is currently riding the tentacle. Another group of goblins has approached you. One is stood on Jix Rock, and They're just three of them, and they're all and just kind of rubbing their fingers on your metal armor, just leaving oily goblin finger marks on you.
Like, Balthazar will just stand there awkwardly, like, kind of like, just like, yeah, trying to avoid getting touched.
Okay. Is there anything you do or say?
No.
Okay. Complete lockdown. Slate. You are treated to 30 spores.
Yes.
Oh.
Add that to your inventory. Don't want to forget about your 30 spores.
I mean, you have currency to give Meredith now.
Jokes
Yeah,
on
we meet
you.
again.
This is Meredith.
How do you think she spends her spare time?
I will put this into my herbalist kit.
Herbalist kit. Okay. So as you take your winnings, your 30 spores, and the mushrooms for all intents and purposes are just like, goodbye, Slate. It was good to meet you. Perhaps you come around next week and we have another get. You watch as one of the goblins idly rips the mushroom out the ground and and
God.
you hear the other mushrooms going. And the goblin just gobbles down the stalk in one go and then just wanders off picking his bum.
Oh, that was slightly traumatic. Sorry, fellas. Good luck not being eaten again. And then I'll look at the other goblin and be like, "Oh, what's that over there somewhere? Oh, but possibly there, further away from
this goblin here, the one behind you."
Yeah.
Okay, so as you turn around, it's a young goblin, like it's a goblin child. You suspect, given your knowledge of goblins, this goblin child is probably about, I don't know, 10 months old.
Oh.
And as you point, sort of like over there, this this goblin toddler just looks up at you and then just wanders off.
Oh no.
Wanders off
Oh, dear.
into the tree line.
There's another goblin just like, "There's Timothy! Timothy! Has anyone seen Timothy?"
Hiram, you just watch as this, what is effectively a goblin in a nappy, just just toddles out the camp and disappears over a rock, never to be seen
Can I-
again.
And they get eaten by wolves. Well done.
Okay, can I please stop them?
So you want to save the goblin child?
Yeah, I'm just gonna pick him up.
I've already deleted the token, I'm afraid.
He's dead.
Gone.
No,
All right.
I
R.I.P.
tried, guys. I
hold-
tried.
Hold the funeral.
So if you like, Hiram, you can try and stop the child as it goes.
It's like, oh,
Please stop.
Well, if you would like to stop the child, you can kind of reach out to them.
I mean, they are tiny. I can
Grapple
just
check
pick
or something.
pick him up.
Okay.
I can buy
You
the
gotta
arcade.
catch him first.
Go for the nappies, pick him up and...
But I'm not touching the nappy. I know better.
Okay, so you manage to stop the tiny goblin as it wanders past you. You just kind of you grab it by the ponytail because that's the only bit that looks remotely grabbable that won't give you some sort of infection or disease.
I am immune. I am immune to diseases, so I'm fine.
In which case, your hand fits around its like upper rib cage as you pick up this goblin, and it just hangs limply in your grip. Yes. So Slate, you breathe a sigh of relief as Hiram stops this goblin toddler from living his best life. Anything else, Slate?
I'll just wander back towards the group and just say, "That was fun. Did everyone? That was like shiny. I wish I was more shiny." And then I'll try and see if I can make myself more shiny just for funsies.
Badger.
Can Badger see where Jick has run off to?
You can see Jick is currently... She stood under a tree just outside the camp. Clearly, she's not quite got it because she's pulling down the branches of this tree to cover her face. Not realizing that her... everything from the neck down is just on view.
If I can't see you, you can't see me. I get it. Okay. So Badger's going to kind of extricate herself from these pawing goblins, get off me. And then she's going to sort of make her way over to the camp boundary. And I presume it's a fence of some
These
kind?
are very roughly, crudely hacked logs creating a palisade. But they're so rickety, it's easy to climb.
Yeah. I mean, she's just going to hop up onto that and sort of say, Jick, you can come back. It's safe.
And from the tree line, you hear,
Oh, no. Oh, they found Jick.
and you watch as these branches kind of pull apart like curtains, and you just see Jick's face.
Oh, no.
There you are. Didn't see you there. Come on back.
And, she clenches her eyes shut real tight.
Oh, no.
It's okay, Jick. Come back. We can talk about it.
Finally, Katya, what do you do?
Katya kneels down to the goblins and she's like, listen. And she points to the cart like, man stuff? Booyah want man stuff. Take man stuff. Else, and she holds up her lyre, gives it slight strums like, booyah, angry.
Okay, I'm gonna need a persuasion with disadvantage because you've shrunk, with advantage because you're playing the loot that blew one of them over the fence. So it's just going to be a straight roll.
Persuasion.
Okay, so as you talk, you see them and they're just like, who the hell are you? Looking at you up and down now that you've shrunk to pretty much their size. Well, you're not as tall as you were. You weren't as booyah as you were. But as soon as you pull out the strum and the kind of face, you see them all, their eyes boggle and they start, yapping and, shouting to one another and, slapping each other around the back of the head. And they all kind of start swarming over to the cart. Zumbo, you are hit by a wave of goblins which knock you over the other side of the cart. As these goblins just start crawling across it like a colony of ants. And before long, they've all kind of congregated themselves towards the front of the cart in such a way that they might be able to pull it in lieu of horses. And
Katya just beams at them like, thank.
One of the goblins who's left behind looks at you and,
Why'd you talk like that?
Just something another goblin taught me, I suppose.
Nah, no goblins talk like that. If that's how you
Is he
if
speaking?
that's how you got taught goblin, you got mugged right off.
he says, as he wanders off to help with the cart.
Katya just sort of stands up, puts her hands on her hips like, yeah, I deserve that.
The other goblin walks past and cool.
It's a low point for me. Looks round to Drool, who just Drool shakes his head and smacks his chops and walks up to the goblin.
Okay, so as these goblins kind of swarm over the cart, Jick begins kind of gingerly heading over to the fence where you are, Badger, and as tall as she is, you're kind of neck height to her, as you're stood, and she looks down to you and
Jick is safe?
Yes.
and
Perfectly
and
safe.
she and you watch as she just kind of awkwardly tries to get one leg up over the fence, and she hoiks her skirt up a little bit. And when she's halfway across, she scratches her nose on one of the tops of the logs, and like as she does it, she stops. She looks at you with this panicked look, and with a sneeze, shrinks back to her normal size, and it on top of this wooden palisade, and not really sure what to do or which way to go. She just panics and like tumbles, tips over the side, and crashes to the ground in a lump.
Oh no.
But yeah, she like on her back. She scrabbles and kind of grabs her skull helmet and pulls it back onto like a skull headdress, pulls it back onto her head, smooths out the feathers, and like looks at herself and realizes she's normal size again, and has this scared look on her face.
If Jick is smaller than Jick is no booyah.
Correct. Badger says, and she jumps down next to her. What are you going to do now?
She looks to you, and she looks and can see the big congregation of goblins that are now dancing on the supply crate. And she tries her best to hide behind you. Like, she tries to condense herself perfectly into your silhouette.
I don't think this is a long-term solution, Jick.
She huffs and yes. It's not how big you are that makes you booyah, it's what's in your heart. Very good. Right, so Jick Jick is feeling surprisingly brave today. So she gingerly pulls herself out of your shadow, literally, and then just kind of puffs her chest out, gets her rattly stick, and you can see, she tries to assume this kind of commanding pose, and she looks to you, and
Jick is boss. Jick is boss booyah. Boss booyah.
and
Right?
and then she strides out, like climbs up onto her rock, and
Jick is booyah.
she shouts out, and the goblins just kind of turn to her, and they look at one another for a while, and then one of them close by,
Yeah.
he says,
Gonna start like going boo yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna help her
Booyah.
with a
Booyah.
little booyah chant.
yeah, okay.
Booyah. Booyah.
So yeah, you all get together, and as you start chanting booyah, the goblins, especially the ones on the cart who are already dancing, they all start chanting booyah, and before long the camp has become this raucous noise again, and Jick just looks a lot more content, and like as she sits on her rock looking a bit more pleased with herself, she looks to you and
How come you come to save Jick?
Was that
well,
to
to all
Badger?
of you, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, why for you come to Jick home and save Jick? You've
Jick, take man supply. Big Red need man supply.
And Jick just looks, and then like she's looking over at the cart, she sees that sack of spilt white pepper, and like the fear spreads across her face, and she says,
Jick no want man supply. You take away. You take now, yes?
Yes, we take.
and she puffs out a big big breath of relief. And one of the goblins comes up and says,
But that is booyah powder.
and Chick like scrunches her face up and just shakes her head.
Jik no need booyah powder for booyah magic.
The magic was inside you all along.
Yeah, she looks to you and kind of waves her hand and
You can take supplies, Jik. Supplies have fruit and vegetable. Jik hate fruit and vegetable. Hate them.
Fair enough.
she looks to you
But when you take supplies back, you come back to Jik home and protect Jik.
Sure, we'll check in
From
on
Big
you.
Red Flappy. Yes.
I'm sorry,
What?
from what?
the goblins all turn around and kind of in unison.
Big Red Flappy.
Oh no.
Oh, it's a goddamn dragon, isn't it?
What does Big Red Flappy have a name?
Jik thinks about it.
Jik not sure. Jik has not got close enough to ask.
Catcher turns to one of the goblins because she still has comprehend language on for a while. So she looks at one of the goblins. What is Big Red Flappy in goblin? In goblin tongue.
The goblins look to you, and the one that was speaking common to you earlier rolls his eyes and like, because you've got comprehend languages on, like he rolls his eyes and then you hear
Goblin word for dragon is dragon.
I thought as much. Thank you.
but to everyone else they hear
Goblin word for dragon is grara.
She turns to another goblin. What's the goblin for thank you?
the goblin turns to you and
Thank you.
she Rot shakes her head. She's like, whatever.
Balthazar will go and fetch the cart
okay, good.
and try and push it away to get out as fast as possible.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, so yeah, you managed to, like, because of your size, you're big enough to kind of hoist it up and start wheeling out like a wheelbarrow, and all the goblins, hey, as they get taken away on an impromptu ride.
Sorry, just to circle back for a second. A dragon. Here's still a dragon nearby.
Jik nods.
Big Red Flappy, yes.
And
When did you see it?
Was it more big or more flappy?
Jik thinks about it, and
Big Red Flappy, not that big. About this big.
Yeah. Okay.
and like
When?
holds up, holds a space between her finger and thumb that's only about a couple of inches, and then she stops, she thinks about it, and then she like cranes her head up to the sky, lifts her fingers up, and then
Yes, about this big.
she says, and you realise that and like, given how close to her eye her finger and thumb were, and like when you do a little bit of perspective checking, like perspective checking, you realise it was probably quite a large dragon. Yeah, so she thinks about it.
Maybe few days ago. Big Red Flappy fly over. Look at Jik, but Big Red Flappy too scared of Jik booyah.
She says, and like she doesn't look too confident in her words, but like she's saying it loud enough that the other goblins can hear her, and they're all like, "Oh, thank God, we've got Jik's booyah to save us."
Catcher turns to Badger. Is like, didn't we see a red dragon here last time we were in the King's Forest when we were heading down to Sazale?
That was not a red dragon. Sorry.
Wait, I might need to do a history check for this, but yeah, I think we definitely there was a dragon, but then it got killed by the garrison.
no,
at
it did.
Jester's
That's correct.
Green.
That's right. I forgot that bit. Yeah.
Yeah, she
Okay.
yeah, so
She's like, oh yeah, you reminded her. She's, oh yeah, they killed it. Okay.
yeah, Jick turns and
Big red flappy. Maybe 1, maybe 2 days ago.
James,
Yes, late.
then can I do a history or nature check? I don't know if is this common in the woods.
we'll tell you what. Who would like to do checks? And if so, which? So it's like history. So this is going to be more of a nature if you're trying to find out if this is common.
In this.
Yeah. So actually, you can have advantage.
Slate's grown up.
You can have advantage because this is home turn.
Brilliant. Oh, that's the best ever.
Okay, so on a 15, you know that like forests, like the King's Forest, is not a natural habitat for red dragons. So to see, I mean, you know, especially young dragons, like they may fly over because they're hunting. You know, they're trying to in inverted commas prove themselves. And 2 dragons in what is effectively the space of like what, a week and a half, 2 weeks. That's weird. And as you're thinking about how weird it is, Jick thinks about it, and like well, you know that the red dragons, given that they are proud and very aloof and self-concerned, them flying would be a bit of a spectacle, right? Like they would make sure they're seen so they can impose the fear and terror of them being a dragon in those around them. You know, they want their territory to know that there's a dragon overhead. Jick thinks about it and says, like you look over and Jick's kind of talking to the others, and
Big red flappy.
and she's got her fingers out and then she's wiggling them, and you kind of get the impression that she's trying to simulate the trees with her fingers.
And she said, Big red flappy, very scary.
Whoosh, whoosh, and like her other hand, the big red flappy, is just above the canopy of the trees. And at that point, you realise that it's potentially a bit odd for a red dragon to be hugging the tree line so closely, almost as if it's trying to avoid detection.
Ooh.
Everyone else, you're all just watching Jick kind of going,
Ooh, flappy.
and she's making dragon noises.
Flap.
I'll turn around to everyone and just do the same, like, so flap. That's not the most normal.
Can we go now? He looks up the sky.
You
Probably should.
you all turn to look. The goblins have now colonized Balthazar.
What
They're just like on his broad shoulder plates. He's got 3 goblins sat on his shoulders. One of them's clambered onto his helmet and then slides down his back because he's Balthazar's kind of hunched and holding up this cart. One of them's pulling on the leather like tabard hanging from his waist. He's just been mauled. It's like someone covered in bags of sweets going into a nursery, just being savaged by all the little kids.
Balthazar just stands there motionless. Can we go now?
Jick. Which direction did this big red flappy thing go?
She looks at you for a moment and you see her thinking about it. She stands up on her rock, and she sort of like puts her fists on her hips as she puts on her thinking face, and like she faces one direction, then she turns and faces another direction, and then turns and faces another direction, and then she points north.
So the opposite direction to back to the fort.
Yes, operates up away from the fort. For the rest of you lot, also interestingly, away from Suzail, which you believed is where the last red dragon that flew overhead was heading towards. The one that met an untimely demise.
They're learning.
But yeah, it's just like, as again, when you say north, Slate, you think about it. I mean, there's nothing valuable to the north which would entice a dragon to be snooping around it, because dragons love their wealth, don't they? So it's a dragon that's trying to be discreet, is heading north, away from people.
Like north towards like Castle Crag sort of area, or
So from where you are, that would be northeast. This is
okay, cool.
This is north. I see some of you already on the map. This is north towards like Evening Star and like the Stormhorns, like the mountain range up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Castle Crag would be distinctly northeast, like towards kind of Arabelle and past that way.
I'll turn to the rest of the group and just be like, so we're going south again, right? South?
Well,
fast
if
as
there's a
possible.
dragon, we definitely need to report that. Or an end, or maybe check why no one has mentioned dragons. And I sent us on errands.
Yeah, there's always that. Jik's kind of looking at you, and sort of like, as you say, to do the errands, and then she just kind of rises up, like snuggles up alongside you, Hiram, like her cheek smooshing on your arm, like on the armor on your upper arm, and then with a smooshed face, she says,
And then after you come back to protect Chick.
We will check on you, Jake. I promise we'll come back and make sure that you are fine.
She looks at you for a moment. Okay. And like in that there's that moment of uncertainty in her face before she starts smiling, because clearly she trusts you lot implicitly.
Oh no.
Oh, don't do this to us, Dan.
Can someone give her a pep talk that, she is a strong, independent goblin who needs no half work?
Is there like an indefinite
Need
death
to
ward
do it.
spell we can cast on her or something?
Tactic at all costs.
Yeah.
We don't really have the time for that, guys.
Yes.
Now this is the whole campaign. Now we're just going to be protecting
Yeah.
Chick.
Yeah.
We go out, hunt, build up the camp, Red Dead Redemption style.
Yeah, learn new recipes for soup.
Yep.
Mushroom soup.
Mushroom soup.
No!
Mushroom soup.
Okay, so yeah, Jik, happily in the knowledge that you will defend her with your lives, she sits back down on her rock, looking very content. Looks a bit disgruntled when she notices that every goblin in the camp is currently on top of or around Balthazar and the supply carts.
It's getting a bit heavy now.
You notice Balthazar struggling as the goblins start jumping up and down on all those fruit and veg. Yeah.
Wait.
Yes.
Balthazar, would you say you're a hoblin because of the goblins?
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Oh wow.
Sorry.
When did Slate start doing dad jokes? My God.
I don't know, but can we take away inspiration?
Yeah. the skills are kicking in.
Is there, before Elle gets to rip out any more clangers, is there anything else you guys would like to do in Jik's camp?
No.
Okay.
No.
So with that,
Oh, can I give someone the goblin child I've been holding?
yes, yeah. As you hand
Give it to Balthazar, yeah. Oh, thanks.
yes, you hand off you hand off this goblin child to one of the goblins. This goblin looks at the goblin child and just shakes his head in a not mine. And you just watch as this young juvenile goblin just gets passed around every member of the camp, and each one going, not mine. But yeah, and by the time you kind of pack up and make your way out with the cart of supplies, the goblins still haven't figured out who this young child belongs to, but Jick is emphatically waving at you from atop her rock. And as
Chance got blown out the camp.
sorry,
Funny chance the one that got blown out the camp.
quite possibly, quite possibly, yeah. And sort of like, yeah, as you head up the hill, up the slope out of the goblin camp, and you turn around at the top of the basin, and you can see Jick, and she's still like an old family member that hasn't seen anyone in ages, and just still waving like a lunatic. As you crest the top of the basin, and the camp falls out of sight, you hear in the distance, "Choo!"
Oh boy.
Okay, so are you guys? So you have a cart of supplies. If we so see in terms of your position, so Agatha gave you two options. You could either go get the supplies, or you could head to Deadluke to recruit some mercenaries. You realize from where you are, you're not too far from Deadluke. So it's up to you. You can either wheel the supply cart back to Fort Lymira directly, although the terrain's a bit treacherous. If you remember, the cart wasn't taking a well-travelled route before it got ambushed by these goblins. Alternatively, you could take it to Deadluke, and at least then you've got the Starwater Road that will take you the majority of the way. Although that will take you past Stagsteads, although theoretically you haven't really got that much to worry from the hunting lodge full of loyalists. Yes.
Sorry, just remind me. Was Deadluke the place that we went to at first?
We went to Mouth of Gargoyles.
Yeah. So when you guys apparated, it was Mouth of Gargoyles. Okay. I think you lot have very briefly visited Deadluke, in a we're passing through kind of way. You stayed the night at Weymouth when you were heading down to Cizaille once upon a time, but you've not actually been to Deadluke.
Personally, I wouldn't mind going to Deadluke, because now I want to maybe check in with other people, see if anyone else has seen the dragon.
Okay.
Smart.
Yeah. That's fair enough. What does everyone else want to do?
How far away is it going to take us to get there? I could do with a bit of a kip. I've not sat down all bloody day.
I like to imagine that you're actually sat on the supply car as it's getting wheeled along. So
Yeah. I mean, I'm not that tired, but poor Badger looks like she's about to drop, and I just feel like we ought to, have a bit of a rest.
So,
visibly yawning while he's saying that.
Slate, you know that it's about 20 miles you've travelled, and on foot, like on your own, that wasn't bad. But looking at Balthazar, you think him pushing this cart through this supply carriage through the woods is going to take a very long time. You'll be very easy to notice. Alternatively, Deadluke is about 10 miles away, sure, in the other direction, but then you can travel down, as I say, the Starwater Road, which will be very easy, like trivial, given that it's a sort of road that you're supposed to take a cart down. You may even be able to get some pack horses to take the cart for you. To hitch the
From
cart
Dead Luke.
From Dead Luke, yeah.
I would probably relay that to the group. I imagine as well as in over time, having kind of grown up in the area, like when there was any kind of trading to happen, that Dead Luke would have been a place that we'd have gone to. And so there'd be like a little bit of excitement about, like when kids like get to go to like the shopping centre for the first time and there's like a place, it's just like exciting because it's big. I can imagine there's like a little bit of childlike excitement about Dead Luke as a place. So like, oh yeah, let's do this, go to Dead Luke, and kind of thinking if there's any.
I mean, what would be most exciting, potentially most exciting about it for you, Slate, and also this is arguably a reason why you know about it, Hiram. Like Dead Luke is a small community that thrives on quail farmers, like logging, like woodcutters and herbalists, but also Dead Luke is a place for retired nobles within the King's Forest. It's once upon a time it used to be a prime target for orc attacks, but in more recent times, the defenses of the town have improved. The aggression of the orcs has significantly subsided, and yeah, it's just like a little retirement place that kind of acts almost. It's not as big of a trading post as say Weymouth, which is just down the road, but yeah, it's a nice place. Very, very scenic.
Yeah, I'm all for Dead Luke, I think now.
Yep. Let's go to Luke.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So thinking about it, you guys arrived at Fort Lymira at about, it would have been about 11 o'clock ish, because you left Arabelle in the morning and then you did some wandering. You found the Radron camp. So 20 miles. That's about. You can travel. Quick maths. It was about 5 hours. 5 hours through the woods to get to the goblin. Let's say 4 hours to get to the goblin camp. So it's about 3 o'clock. Yeah, it's afternoon. By the time you get to Dead Luke, it'll be creeping towards evening and supper time. Hello, Slate.
If I were to be a pack horse, would that make it quicker?
It would certainly help out Balthazar, who's currently walking a cart on his own.
For sure. I think that would probably be a benefit. Yeah, I'm just thinking as pack horse. Yeah, pack horse would be the one to do. I'm going to go for pack horse.
Sure. Okay.
Just to help out a bit.
Okay. So with that in mind, then, yeah, you guys start at the goblin camp, and yeah, the journey to. So the journey to Dead Luke isn't particularly exciting. The trees get more sparse the closer you get to Dead Luke, as it becomes a bit more kind of well traveled and well used. Are there any quick discussions going on between you as you do it's only a couple of hours journey. It's only 9 miles, so it's about just over 2 hours journey. Are there any pressing conversations any of you have had?
I think we would probably regale Balthazar and Zambu or the previous Jig adventures.
Oh, so you rescued Jig?
For the benefit of those who've never heard these stories before, such as Balthazar, which stories are most fond to your hearts?
Oh gosh, so many.
Wait,
I mean,
so you rescued Jig from this cave, and then what?
Then we rescued her again when she was tied to a cart.
That's right.
In between this, in like streaks of whinnying and kind of things going on, Slate would try to explain the cart chase, but obviously it wouldn't really be anything apart from and whinnies, so everyone just keeps on going.
Pack horse getting real irate.
Did we cover the bit where we originally saved Jick from the cave that fired Magnus out like a cannonball?
Oh, is that your?
Who's
Yeah.
Magnus?
Aggressive whinnies
Oh.
and shakes.
Some wizard we used to hang around with us, but then he wandered off. Didn't like some decision we'd made. I don't know.
Catcher momentarily sings the low-flying cleric. But yeah, Magnus was. Yeah, he was a war wizard who helped us out. I think we had a disagreement on the on who should be sitting on this Azale throne, and he chose to follow Raedra.
Blimey, that is quite a disagreement.
Yeah.
Wait,
Also,
you're-
he was sort of our previous leader.
So
Ah.
who's the leader now?
I mean, technically speaking, Badger.
Oh, Badger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you
I
were
forgot
the
about that.
Oh, so
Oh boy.
Badger, you're the lead of this group.
Apparently.
Zumbo,
Oh, that's pretty good.
what
Yeah.
is this tosh they're all talking about?
I think when Balthazar asks who's the leader, Zumbo kind of
Uh-huh.
just his hat's like,
And everyone
He's
nods
just-
and goes, Badger!
and you can see him just like visibly deflating.
But I'm not particularly set on the position. It's lovely and all, but I don't know. I've always thought that maybe there's somebody else better suited to being a leader. Somebody brave and strong and
At this point,
he's just
Slate neighs loudly,
Yes,
triumphantly,
lady, it is you.
and like prances.
It's like,
okay,
are we
Slate.
talking
You can
about-
be the leader.
I think Droll really wanted to be leader, didn't you, boy? And she ruffled
That's
his face.
true.
And Droll sort of.
The purest heart in the party.
It's true.
Zumbo,
So-
it seems like they're playing a very elaborate long-term prank here by naming everyone except you. It's like it's the comedy on these guys and girls is mwah.
It's so refreshing to have a crew with a sense of humour,
Yeah,
Yeah.
as well as is.
it is.
Wait, so you're friends with a goblin and a war wizard?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We have made some choices.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, we have.
Okay, so the conversation significantly helps speed up the time, and before long, you find yourself wheeling the cart into Dead Luke. So what you notice is that Dead Luke is, as I say, it's a relatively small community. It's in a cleared out area of the forest, and yeah, in such a way, like the tidiness of the clearing in which Dead Luke is situated reminds you almost like of the precision of a topiary bush kind of thing. Topiary bush. Yeah, it's clearly very, very well maintained. The locals just kind of regard you. I mean, because they're on a relatively major trade path, the arrival of adventurers isn't too unusual for them. There's a little gasp as the pack horse turns into a different person. Which form are you turning into post horse?
Ooh. I think probably Ameline here. It's a bit fancier than your average town.
Okay, Ameline.
I haven't seen her in a while.
We have not seen her in a while. So yeah, everyone just kind of gasps as this horse turns into a noble-looking woman with long brown hair and a quite a posh-looking red dress. But yeah, as you kind of wheel the cart, the town itself is dominated by this kind of large building just off the center of what is effectively like the town square center type place. And hanging above the door is a sign that says, "In the Blushing Maiden." And yeah, Slate, with your local knowledge, like the Blushing Maiden is kind of like the place to be in Deadluke, and it's for given how kind of out the way Deadluke is compared to, you know, say like Arabelle or Mars Ember, you know, the big places. The Blushing Maiden is a very well-to-do and well upkept inn, with reasonable rates, good food, and pleasant company.
Casual will ask Slate as much information as she can about the place to figure out what sort of music to play, and then obviously use by popular demand to sort us out rooms and food.
I think Ameline will be quite excitedly chattering away, like just the inn owner, like things like, oh, they're quite into their easy listening and sort of, I guess, calming, relaxing, not too overtly overwhelming music, but they're lovely people in there. It's one of the best. Lovely and friendly, and like just chatting about different locals that have come in over time that they might have known that Slate might have known in different guises.
So Dwarvish Tank and Acrobatics is out then?
Ooh, I mean, throw it in at the end when a bit more inebriated, I guess. Just for fun.
Zumbo, you notice like a couple of people looking in your direction, some of them marveling at your blue dragon coat, others just kind of you overhear one group of kind of young lads, if you will, and what you overhear one of them kind of sniggering, someone's lost. No, see around here. And yeah, as you kind of roll your eyes, you look over and you notice that Balthazar seems to be kind of aware that a lot of people are looking in his direction.
Balthazar will shuffle awkwardly into a corner.
So Balthazar, you just kind of branching away from the group to try and find somewhere to hide behind.
Pretty much. Go sit in a booth in a corner somewhere.
No.
Yeah, you get us a table ladder. Badger, why don't we get some drinks?
So you head into the Blushing Maiden, sorry, yeah? Okay,
yeah.
So in which case, you watch as Balthazar kind of scurries off ahead of you towards a Blushing Maiden. Balthazar, what you notice is that this rustic-looking way house it's a very wide building, and as you enter in, like as you push the doors, you have to push both doors to get in. And you can hear the whispering. It sounds like whispering of people kind of looking your direction as you kind of burst into the tavern. And as you enter into said tavern, the first thing you see is on the wall in front of you, above all the tables on the other side of this room, is this enormous tapestry that reaches from one end of the wall all the way to the other, and like it is immediately clear upon entering that this tapestry is kind of woven with elven enchantments. Like that's what you pick that up with your eye, and it's a bit difficult to tell, but it's almost like the tapestry itself is glowing with this ever so slight golden light. And the tapestry depicts what looks to be kind of different civilizations. Given your you just seem to know that these are depictions of various civilizations across Faerun, just kind of scattered across this large tapestry. The tables are polished and well kept. The floor is furnished with plush owlbear rugs, and you can see the steam rising off the hot quail meals that are coming out the kitchen. And as you stand there just kind of taking it all in, the others manage to catch up with you. And you find yourself stood in the doorway of the Blushing Maiden. And as you look around, a lot of the patrons have turned to look at you because, just this big group of adventurers just barreled in. And as you scan the room, some of you notice two more familiar faces sat on a table opposite you. A dark-skinned female ranger, Helenus Fish, and the tiefling mage, Xakas. And as Helenus looks up to you and says, "What on earth are you doing here?" We'll take a 10-minute break.
Sweet.
Hey.
Go.
Yay!
Haven't seen them in a while.
It has been a while, hasn't it?
In a bit.
See you in a bit. Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
Hello.
Hello. So the Warhounds have arrived at the Blushing Maiden, which is the the highly reputable tavern in the small King's Forest town of Deadluke. You've watched kind of Balthazar kind of streak away ahead of the group, and kind of burst into the tavern first, and upon following him and seeing the interior, you have spotted those of you who are OG characters. Two familiar faces sat on a table on the other side of the drink hall. A dark-skinned human female who you recognize as Helenus Fish, and the red-skinned tiefling woman, Xakas. These two you met once upon a time at Rager's Reach, the camp in Hullock Forest, and then later back in Arabelle. They are a part of the Society of Stalwart Adventurers, the largest, kind of most well-known national adventuring guild in Cormyr. And Helenus has just looked up to you and said, "What on earth are you doing here?" And as she says that, a small, fuzzy grey and white face pops up from over her shoulder, looks at you all with kind of shining golden eyes, and stretching out its wings, this little tressym launches itself from Helenus's shoulder, and kind of glides over the sat patrons, and then just kind of starts hovering. This winged cat just starts hovering around your heads, before finally coming to a rest on Balthazar's helmet.
Oh, hi. Hey there, buddy. Nice.
The tressym kind of sprawls itself flat over the dome of your helmet, and as you go to pat it, it starts swiping at your hand.
Balthazar just giggles and plays with it.
Ameline will wander up to the pair of them and say, "Certainly that wasn't the warm welcome I was expecting from the Blushing Maiden, but I guess it's good to see you both here. What are you doing here?"
Helenus and Xakas, as you kind of approach the table, those of you who are more perceptive, so basically everyone, everyone but Hiram.
Oh.
Paladin's got a paladin. You watch as you approach, Helenis's and Axakas's hands part on the table in front of you. Like they pull their hands away from one another. As they kind of sit up straight as you approach. The tiefling woman turns to you, like her spell tome, like on the table in front of her, and there's plates with empty food plates on the tables in front of them, and she says, the very sort of thing you would expect mercenaries like us to be doing. We are here for some work.
I mean, it seems like we're all allowed to have some off time.
The two women look at each other, and then Axakas looks like furrows her like squints at you slightly. But no, what are you doing here? You're not here to steal our work, are you?
It depends. What's your work?
Helenis looks kind of slightly bemused, and the work's not quite the only thing we're here for. It would seem that the locals have a bit of a pest problem, and we've poked our noses in to see if we can help out. But also, you can see she looks a bit apprehensive, and like she's looking down at the table in front of her, and you watch as her eyes kind of rise up to look at Axakas, and then she turns her head to look at you, Badger. I've decided to introduce Axakas to my mother.
Really?
And that you can see, like, Elenis kind of closes her eyes as if she's kind of gives that look, like this is a tough thing for her, and she may be a cantankerous old brute of a woman. And you see Axakas kind of look up in shock before realizing it's not her Helenis is talking about. But she's still my mother. So it's only right that she meet Axie.
See. Well, that's wonderful. I didn't know you two were talking again.
Under her breath, you see the tiefling kind of mouth Axakas as she says Axie. But Helenis just kind of straightens up, and with in response to you, Badger, she kind of shuffles slightly, and with everything that's happened, we've decided that, I mean, there's no real point in dallying,
Mm-hmm.
And
And
like Helenis just looks like a little bit bashful, like she doesn't really, she just feels a bit, well, she looks very vulnerable, and Axakas just looks from her to you lot and just kind of rolls her eyes. Yes, we're back together, she says.
Badger does a little hey. He said, "This is brilliant. Drinks.
Yes,
We need drinks."
And with that, the minute mention of drinks, Ameline will start towards the bar. But on the way,
Yes.
with the tapestry at the back, tapestry.
Yep. So the
Tapestry at the back.
the tapestry is all along like this wall this back wall here.
I think on the way to the bar,
Yeah.
Ameline will just casually, probably towards where the end of it is, underneath the wings, just lift it up and check. And just kind of go, still there. And then wander off to the bar. Just to get everyone drinks that she thinks would be the most appropriate for them without asking.
Okay. So yeah, Ameline, as you head up to the bar, you see that Katja is ahead of you. And yeah, Katja, as you're speaking to, well, like, behind the bar is the innkeep, who's this kind of older kind of gentleman. You suspect he's probably from the south. He's from the southern lands certainly, and he just kind of there's this air of confidence about him, as you know, he gives you this warm, welcoming smile as you approach, and welcome, he says. Welcome to the Blushing Maiden. How can we help?
Welcome, good sir. We are a venturing party, the Warhounds from Arabelle. We are looking for room and board tonight, and I was wondering if you are in need of entertainment. And our price will be lodgings and food. We will pay for our own drinks, obviously, but I know many songs. I can sing anything that your patrons will probably need in the area. I mean, for instance, something like Howleth at the Moon is quite a good one around these parts, I hear. And if you have particularly royal leanings, I could always do sort of Rager Went to Arabelle or The Purple Dragon Cometh. Or a new song, The Ballad of the Warhounds, I hear is quite popular.
So as you're kind of talking to him, there's this kind of expectant, excited look on the innkeep's face, right up until when you say Raedra, and then his face drops a little bit, and
as she puts up her hand, it's like, apologies. Obviously, that is the usual repertoires. I can obviously drop that one for you, and instead replace it with the Lay of the Purple Dragons, if you prefer.
I think that'd be mighty fine of you, he says. And it's just as much as I love that song, I have a feeling that some of the other patrons might not be as receptive, he says. And like he kind of tilts his head over like past your shoulder, and behind you see a group of 6 purple dragons who are all they're being kind of loud and raucous, but they're kind of sticking to themselves. You do, however, notice that on their tabards and on their uniforms, they carry the grey of the 8th Regiment.
See, in that case, would you prefer something a little more excitable, such as Dwarven Tank or Acrobatics, or even maybe I Don't Fear Your Gullet Fire, now give me another?
The
last one gets a lot of people buying drinks. You might want that one for a good evening.
He smiles and, well, I'm afraid to say I'm but a simple innkeep, and you are the bard, so I will leave it in your capable hands on deciding what is and isn't appropriate at a time like this. But as long as there is a measure of decency maintained within these four walls, I'm more than happy.
Good sir, I would not want to disrespect your establishment. I shall keep things. I'll keep things within reason.
And he nods. Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Katja Donahue, sir.
Katja Donahue.
Travelling bard of the Warhounds.
Well, Lady Donahue, it would be my pleasure to offer you my stage.
Thank you, sir. And that's for board and food?
Absolutely, yes.
Drinks.
And she turns to Slate and is like, rule 1 of negotiating: don't push your luck. If they offer it, then take it. If not, then we pay for our drinks.
As an aside, we have 2 different types of lodgings here at the Blushing Maiden. I'm not sure if you have visited here in the past, but for free you can have the rooms upstairs, free of charge. But for a small fee, we currently have no one staying in the more upmarket suites. If that takes your if a taste of high living is preferred.
Ameline
And how
will.
much, sir?
And he thinks about it. Well, so the private suites are usually an additional 3 gold. But let's say 2 gold each. 2 gold per room.
Ameline will saunter up to the bar.
Yeah.
Good sir. And you do realize this is one of the most prestigious bards of all time. You are having one of the most lucky nights you will ever have in your life, and to host a bard such as this, and actually some adventures such as they over there, could bring you some quite good coin, as Katya has already told you.
Allow me to introduce Lady Ameline of the Warhounds.
Pleasure.
Roll me a persuasion. And
Oh, 21.
the barkeep looks at the 2 of you, and like, do you see? And his eyes linger on you for a little while, Ameline. And he says, "Well, in the face of such beauty, I'm sure no one will mind if the private suites are rented out for free. I have 6 rooms," and he looks over. "I think I count 6 of your number."
Six. There are also a one animal, but that will bunk in with myself, sir.
Very good. Yes. In which case,
7 us.
The six-
7.
Plus-
That was
plus Emily.
Emily.
Yeah, Emily.
Emma. Beg my pardon. I didn't see her there.
The squire may bunk with her liege.
Perfect, he says. 6 sleeping arrangements, 6 rooms. That sounds like a match made in the heavens.
Certainly. And then, like,
You are
Ameline will wink, but can't wink.
for this kindness, sir. I'll throw in an extra song for your patrons.
Very, very kind of you, he says. Now, what can we get the fine adventurers to drink?
Ooh, I would not go amiss if you have any Suzale or maybe some bitter black.
And he smiles to you and turns and begins getting the drinks for you. At the table. Yeah, the rest of you are kind of sprawled out across the 2 tables, across like Helenus and Axicas's table and the table next to them. Helenus kind of addresses you all in general as she says, "So I'm going to be honest. When we first met you at Rager's Reach, I thought there was some potential in you. I hadn't quite anticipated just how much of a difference you were going to make to the country," she says with this almost sly smirk. And like as she looks at you, like what are your what expressions are your faces giving her?
I mean, she's mostly talking to Badger, right? And
Well,
maybe Hiram? Because
I suppose it would be Badger and Hiram, yeah, actually. So yeah, Badger and Hiram, what are your faces saying?
Uncomfortable.
Axicas takes a sip from a wooden, from a glass of wine, and I'm not going to lie.
It sounded like a pretty rough deal you found yourself with.
Yeah, you can't say that again.
And Helenus kind of looks up and if what I've heard is true, I don't think I would have been able to make that choice. So I commend your courage in doing probably what was right for the country. It was, you know, a very difficult choice between two terrible outcomes, but I think, she says, and she looks around at all the commoners that, you know, all the other patrons that are kind of talking and chatting and laughing. I think maybe this is better than the alternative?
Oh, I mean, we will never know. No, it is what it is. I think at the point we were kind of shoved, we were kind of forced into a corner, and this seemed like the best way to get out of it.
She nods. When we saw you last back in Suzale, it was actually Badger here that kind of gave me a little token that kind of made me remember what's important to me, which I suppose is why I'm here, especially after I found out that that Mother had rushed off to fight with the separatists. I mean, that woman's as tough as old boot leather, but I don't think even she can stand up to the king.
Where do you stand on all this?
And Helenus kind of looks down, and well, I mean, she's my mother, so I suppose I'm standing with her. And as she says that, she looks a bit forlorn, and you watch as Axicas reaches out and kind of places her hand on the back of Helenus's and kind of gives her an assuring nod. The tiefling then kind of looks kind of left and right at Balthazar and Zumbo, and she looks to you first, Zumbo, and the last time I saw you, you were a lot taller. Covering your face, blue coat. This is your wizard, yes?
No, not quite. And apologies for being rude. So you have to recruit with us. This is Zumbo, our captain of sorts.
Pleasure.
The tiefling nods. Exicus, she says.
And this is Balthazar.
Well, stroking the Tressum.
You are, like Helenus remarks that, you know, the cat Nimbus seems very comfortable with you. She smiles and she smiles and says, "You must either smell good or be quite warm to the touch," she says, as this winged cat just kind of is rubbing its face over your joints and like rubbing its cheek on the edges of your armor plating.
Yeah, it's maybe the smell.
And Axicas looks you up and down and curious, she says. She turns to like you, Badger, and you, Hiram, and as like around about this point, Ameline and Catcher, you would have been able to start making it back with a number of drinks. And as you approach, you kind of arrive just in time to hear Axika saying, "From what I understand, this," she says, kind of waving a finger up and down in front of Balthazar, "this is a daydream."
What?
I mean, Abeline's beautiful and all, but that's a hell of a flattery there, Asakas.
Oh, stop.
The tiefling visibly rolls her eyes at you, and then wraps a knuckle on Balthazar's shoulder plate. Where did you find him?
Some gnomes gave him to us to look after and train up.
In a tavern. They found me in a tavern. Wanted to sign up.
He's our lifeboat. Trainee lifeboat.
Axakas kind of blinks a couple of times. A tavern in Noms? Like, she can't really understand what it is that you're saying. And she...
Catcher chimes in and is like, it's maybe a story for another time. I know Balthazar is very particular about the details, right, buddy?
Yeah. Crazy night when we met. Crazy, yeah. Big story.
Axakas shrugs, and I'm not surprised. He's a Warforged.
What do you mean Warforged?
What's that?
And Axakas kind of looks at you, like gives you a look, and she, when she realizes that you guys aren't kind of playing, the Warforged, I've heard it spoken about by some. I've heard it spoken on the streets and in the jobs and back in the guild hall, but the Warforged, they were the products. They were supposed to be the product of Project Implacable, and she
Placeable?
They called it Implacable. The war wizards, but she looks Balthazar up and down. You are an impossibility, my friend. They shut the project down.
No, I don't think I come from that. You must be mistaken.
And she... and like, you see, she starts to kind of like stroking her chin and just kind of... She's really inspecting you and kind of looking you up and down, and like she starts like leaning in and kind of peering into your joints and so on.
That's rude.
Yes, sorry, implaceable.
It's implacable.
That's what I said. Yeah. It's just just lag on the line.
You know, we're gonna get a voiceover. Dan says it, and then it's just gonna be like
Implacable. That's what I thought too.
So, yeah, like as Axakas starts inspecting Balthazar quite acutely,
Balthazar just like holding the cat, trying to like to trust him.
Yeah, Hellenis like raises an eyebrow and says, You lot haven't actually said why you're here. You're not here to steal our job, are you?
No. The vermin are yours. No, we're here to recruit some mercenaries that are meant to be in the area. I thought it might be you for a second when we walked in.
Hellenis looks to you, and then like you watch as she looks around the tavern, and you realise that apart from yourselves, these two are the only mercenaries, and they're also from the Stalwart Society. And Hellenis, like her face goes passive as she just looks at you with a really look. And who sent you to recruit us?
Now you're going to laugh. In fact, I just want you to guess. Just guess.
Hellas, she stares at you for a bit, and you can almost see her face darken slightly.
And Badger starts like nodding knowingly as her face does that. Uh-huh. You got it.
So, what you're telling me is that my mother has asked for us by name?
Good as. Close enough. She said, go to the Blushing Maiden in Deadluke, find the mercenaries that are there, and recruit them.
How deceitful do you feel right now, Badger?
Wait,
How
why?
deceptive does that statement?
Why would I? Am I deceiving her? I thought I was telling the truth. What have I got wrong about that?
Was it
Can I go into
specifically
your
the
lesson?
Blushing
I mean, that
Maiden?
is verbatim. Find the Blushing Maiden is the part that wasn't mentioned, but she is right.
Yeah. That's
go
fair.
to,
We were just meant to go to Deadluke, go to the
Yeah.
tavern or whatever, and find the mercenaries. So
Okay, so in that case,
Can I retroactively beforehand give Badger while she just sits there struggling away?
Would I still have the bardic from from the fight? Has it been? It's been more than 10
Did more than 10
minutes.
minutes, but Catcher basically sort of like she's just
Thank
strumming on her lute
you.
and psychically inspires you.
Do I get? Is it 3 that I get on top of whatever I roll?
D8. I mean, it seems to roll it automatically.
It's
but
rolled it
usually
automatically.
But I think you roll it when you need it.
I'll roll it when I need it.
Okay.
Okay. Right.
yeah.
Okie dokie. I'm gonna roll that. I was gonna roll that bardic anyway. So is it D8?
Yes.
D8. See if that works.
Okay.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Like as you kind of say what you said, and like you're absolutely telling the truth. But like Helena's just like clearly she knows her mother enough that she doesn't know it's me, does she?
Oh. Yeah, possibly not. I didn't think of that. Wow, this is a roller coaster, isn't it?
So you're just here to pick up the mercenaries, are you?
It seems that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe she was too proud to say it was you, and she knew, but
hang on.
was too proud about just going. Oh, go and pick up my daughter. And
Hang on. How would she know there were mercenaries here, but not know it's you?
exactly.
she Helenis kind of rolls her eyes. Clearly, I mean, if she's the sort of company that she keeps, she'd be able to find out when the stalwarts are sending out mercenaries to various areas. So she's probably, I assume, she's going to try and buy us off with coin, or perhaps a duty to the country. She says.
Okay. I'll tell you what. You wanted to introduce Agatha to Axie anyway.
The tiefling Axicas.
So, why not just treat this as an opportunity to do that, and we can deal with the whole are you going to be recruited into the Women of the Woods when we get
And
there.
Helenis kind of closes her eyes, and as you say that, Hiram, you were going to say something?
No, this can wait
Okay.
until we're done here.
And like Helenis grits her teeth, like you can see her biting on her back teeth, but I wanted to meet my mother on my terms, not hers.
I'm so sorry. She's a wily old fish. Literally.
Hey! And Helenis, like she growls and grumbles, Zumbo, I can only see you jump slightly, but she bangs her fist on the table next to you. And like, quite loudly, she says, "Am I cursed to forever live in the shadow of Agatha Fish?" She shouts out. And like, she shouts loud enough that the hubbub in the tavern dies down a bit. And then you hear, Hiram, you hear a voice from behind you. "What did you say?"
Oh.
And as you look, you notice there are 6 purple dragons
Oh,
turning to
boy.
look at you.
Uh-oh.
And
Uh,
one of them,
oh,
"What was that?" says one
Apologies,
purple
our
dragon. She
friend
stands
here
up.
is a bit agitated, for the lack of a better word. Just not particularly fond
Catch-
of this Agatha
they-
Fish.
She wants to
Cassius
catch
stands
fish.
up like, clearly it's time for some music.
As you go to stand up, as you say that, you notice like the sounds of 6 chairs scraping across the floor as the purple dragons get up. You notice one of them's a bit woozy on his feet, and the dark-haired woman that shouted out, as she stands up, she necks her flagon of ale, and they step out from behind their table, and
I said, it's time for some music.
Ooh, great.
Oh.
Enthrall.
Out of character, why are you doing this when we can literally just mention who we are and this will be fine?
That's why the first song I'm going to play is the Heroes of, the Heroes of Hark.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
It's also not about, we shan't just be name dropping every time. Sometime.
The Ballad of the Warhounds, sorry.
I mean, come on, for the first campaign, whenever we said our names, someone wanted to beat us up. It would be nice to see the opposite happen. Let's enjoy it
I
while
mean-
it
I mean-
lasts.
The worry we have is if they don't like fish very much, let's not have a big bar fight.
Clearly.
I mean, I'm kind of a bit low in health.
Really? Neither does her. It's fine.
Let's keep them distracted.
Stop.
I've actually just realised, by the way.
Move your finger away. Move your finger away.
I just realised, by the
Uh-huh.
way, Tilda, we need this to happen because I've got Emily her own room. I miscounted. There are actually 6 of us, but with 7, Emily gets her own room. So we don't want to fight.
so
And this is home turf. Leave the nice bars alone.
Who's bunking with whom?
So, click the button. Click the button
yeah.
down.
You're
Click
right.
the button down.
as you watch as Katya stands up and says, "Let's just play a song."
Oh boy.
One. 6.
Yes.
2.
Ah!
He
Oh.
passes.
Okay.
That's a 16.
It's a wisdom save, isn't it? No, he doesn't pass. He doesn't pass. I can use cutting words to knock him down by 1, but that's my last bardic inspiration for the day.
Okay.
God.
How many more are there? 3.
Okay, so you've cutting words one of them. There's 3 left. 15.
Yes.
That's 4. 14.
Yes.
That's 5.
A natural 20.
At least one of them is going to be.
So,
Shut up, Kevin.
of the purple dragons stand up, and as you say, let's just listen to some music. 5 of them like look at you for a moment, and like you notice that they seem fixated on you, and the one that's swaying on his feet goes, yeah, let's listen to some music. It's the dark-haired woman that kind of pipes up in the first place. That sort of looks at the other purple dragons and goes, sort of realizes, like, looks and sort of like starts patting them on the shoulders and going, "What are you doing?" She says.
As that happens, I'd like to wander up and cast Charm Person.
Okay.
And
Doesn't charm person have like a 1 minute duration?
absolutely.
Hour duration.
Oh, an hour. Oh, 1 hour. Yeah, I'd like to go up to the group. Would you mind, I feel a bit lightheaded. Would you mind walking me outside for a moment?
You know they're going to know you've done that in an hour, right?
Yeah, at least mine is just pure like,
Yeah.
they're in thrall, but they don't realise they've been had.
Just seduce her. It's fine.
Right. Okay. So your DC is 13.
Is it only the person that realise they've been charmed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So as you go up to the final purple dragon and say, oh, "Can you take me outside?" The woman looks to you, blinks for a few moments, and no, of course, milady, she says, and sort of like, takes you by the arm and side and kind of guides you out. Careful, no sudden movements. You don't want to be sick on this beautiful dress. And she kind of leads you to the door.
Katja looks at the rest of the stands on the table, looks at the rest of the Warhounds, and she's like, gives her, "I've got this."
Okay. So Katja, you you jump on the table and you start playing the songs. The purple dragons all return to their seats. And looking back on the table, Helenus just looks a bit po-faced, as she just calls that little hubbub, and like realizing that magic has just been liberally used. Axakas goes looks to you and are you expecting any of this to come and bite you on the ass?
Yes. Yes, we do.
Aha. And you want
Yeah.
to be
About
here for that?
an hour or so. Yeah.
Right, well,
Okay, Ameline can disappear in an hour and be replaced by someone else.
Very
well,
true.
perhaps if we have to clear out of here relatively quickly, perhaps if you help us, then we can help you.
How are you going to help us exactly?
Well, the quicker that we finish with our task, our duty, the quicker that we can go and see your mother, Helenis.
We have a
Oh,
cart
do
of
we-
supplies we need to get back to camp. I am going to say that after. Yes, but just sorry.
Sorry, no, I just... if you've got some rats to catch, I can help. My friend Marilyn taught me how.
I'm sorry, rats?
You said vermin. You're on a vermin mission.
No. We are clearing out a vermin.
Yeah, better not be a goddamn dragon. Because you're not
And
helping
What-
me.
Helenus turns to you here, Ammon. Oh, you've heard of the dragon as well, then?
Oh,
Katja
God.
slips a key. It's like, "Ing!"
And with that, we shall call it there.
Dun dun
Amazing.
dun.
No.
Let's go a dragon hunt.
Carl and Eleanor,
Yeah.
I love you guys. You have like a really high charm. Talk to people. Stop wasting your spare slots.
The rest is a very comfortable
It's
room.
getting
so I thought,
close
like,
to the end of the day.
We gotta
Might as well
spend
burn
the
them
spell
all.
slots.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Plus, I would have cast Enthrall anyway when she starts her set. So
Also, just as a note, just because the character is charming doesn't mean the person playing it knows how to do the charming thing to make it viable.
I have seen you roleplay. That's a lie.
Elsewhere, in Cormyr. the sound of the wind is loud as it streaks past their ears, accompanied by the rhythmic of large leathery wings. And with a practiced precision, the red dragon pulls its wings in and plunges through the canopy of the king's forest to land at the mouth of a small cave. The two tall, gaunt figures dismount from its back, one of them clutching a bloodied scroll in her hand. And as they enter the cave, one of them holds a hand out, and a lantern sat on a nearby crate flickers to life. In the lamplight, the scroll is unopened. It is opened, and the female of the two looks, and she smiles as she looks at her companion. Her rows of sharp, gem-studded teeth glinting in the lamplight.
It would seem that these fools have found it,
she says. And the two of them smirk to each other, and under their breaths they whisper,
for the Lich Queen.
Nope.
Oh boy.
Nope. It's a whole lot of nope.
It's a whole big case of nope.
Congratulations on completing session 4!
Hey!
Hey!
Does
Very
anyone
good.
else feel like we are
Welcome, everybody.
collecting monarchs? We have 2 queens and 1 king so far.
Yeah. There's a lot of kings and queens in this campaign.
This one sounds hardest to dethrone.
I feel like Slate might also be a queen, or Ameline might be as one as well. So, yeah.
Ameline's a pure queen.
Pure queen energy. Yes, thank you everyone for coming along. Hope you all enjoyed. Again, glad to have you back, Elle. And
Glad to be back.
yeah, I guess I'll see you all next week.
Sweet.
See you next week.
See you then.
Next week.
Bye.
See ya.
See you in a bit.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
And that just about wraps up another session of Cormyr Echoes of War. Thanks for sticking around to the end. Your support really means a lot to us. Tune in next week to see how the Warhounds react to the idea of dragon hunting. We're working on a new project behind the scenes, and I'm excited to let you know more in the future, so keep your ear out for that. If you liked this episode, please hit the like button and let us know what your favourite bits were in the comments down below. For more Cormyr goodness, you can find some more videos down in the bottom left, and for even more Cormyr goodness, subscribe to the Explorers of Elsewhere channel over here. Once again, thank you for your support, and until next time, may the realms endure.